Hey folks, it's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blue Ridge present Fannin Rebel Wrap-Up. We want to thank Blue Jeans Pizza and Pepsi for providing the drinks and all of our Team FYN Sports sponsors this year. Thank you very much. We want to invite you to follow our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. Also follow us at Team FYN Sports on Twitter. We're here tonight. We're joined by head coach of the Rebels, Jim Pavao. We have our outside linebackers coach, O'Neill, is with us tonight. In our first segment here on the couch, we have a senior. He's a senior, plays corner, number 82, Austin Brown, and also a senior defensive line, number 62, Clay Holloway. Hold on, my computer slowed down on me. Team FYN Sports Player of the Week, back-to-back, number 44, linebacker Mason Rhodes. Congratulations to you. We're talking 3A Region 7 football. The Fannin Rebels are coming off a loss to North Hall, 13-0. We're going to talk about that game in a minute. We want to give you the update from around the region. Dawson had a non-region game against White County, and they lost. Dawson Tigers lost 45-42. Union Panthers coming off a loss to Greater Atlanta Christian, 47-7. East Hall is over Lumpkin, 42-14. The Friday night games coming up in this region. The Rebels will be hosting Greater Atlanta Christian up here. Dawson County will have their first home region game. They host the North Hall Trojans. Union Panthers are headed over to play East Hall Vikings, and Lumpkin County has a bye week. All game times are 7:30 kickoff. Coach, this past week, that was a tough one over at North Hall. And I know we talked about this earlier in the year when you were in non-conference play, and I had an opportunity to see North Hall. They're a good football team.
Yeah, they are. They're well coached. Kids play hard, and they're tough on defense, and so they're a pretty good football team.
Well, I guess where I want to start with that is they are a good football team. I watched them earlier in the year. I know you lost 13-0, but really, to me, it brings home you guys have a good football team because you played a very competitive game Friday night. What are some of the points that changes that game? It's a 13-0 game, so when you get in a 13-0, there's a handful of things, and I'll tell you what our sports writer, and I'll let you take off here. I'll tell you what our sports writer says is, you get a 20-yard gain, and something comes back. It's those little things that pulled you back a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, penalties hurt us. It's kind of a combination of a couple things. Penalties, we turned the ball over 3 times. 2 interceptions and a muff punt. Muff punt right before half. It was 0-0, and they get the ball on our 30, scored on 4th down and 4, with about 2 seconds to go in half. So it's 7-0 going to halftime, and like I said, we had a couple of turnovers on offense. We scored on offense, but called back, holding penalty that was away from the play, 20 yards, but it's still, penalty. And so, we're still got to clean some things up and improve in some areas. But, kids played hard. I really appreciate their effort. Played hard, gave ourselves a chance to win, but we just, they made less mistakes than we did when it came right down to it.
Well, I guess that's, that's, to me, that's about the best way to put it, because when you're in a 13-0 game, usually the one that comes out on top is the one that didn't get called back a couple times, didn't have the offside call or muff pump, just 1 or 2 things that changes that game.
Yeah, because we had 3 turnovers, they had none.
Looked a little bit like what I've been told. It looks like the passing game actually is turning out to be much better. I guess the words I put it. It's coming along.
It's coming along. It's developing. It's a working process.
Okay, it's developing, but the running game needs to get some balance.
Well, we ran the football fairly well. Like you were saying, we had several nice runs called back, and so not long. We don't have the breakaway. We're not gonna have the 40 and 50 and 60-yard runs, but some nice 10 and 15-yard runs, a 20-yard touchdown run we had called back. And we can't have that because we don't have a lot of explosive play. We don't get a lot of explosive play. And explosive plays, of course, being 20, 25-yard plus. So we've got to stay ahead of the chains. We can't get into 2nd and 20 because of a holding penalty, or 1st and 20 because of a holding penalty. We've got to get in 2nd and 4 to 6, 3rd and 2 or 3, that kind of thing like that. And we get in a penalty, put ourselves in a penalty, get a penalty and get, 3rd and 14. That's not ideal for us, obviously. It's not ideal for most teams, but it really hampers us.
Well, I want to kind of back up with the passing game being better. I don't want to even go that way. Coming along, I like the sound of that because it does. Jason, our sports writer on the sideline, says that the passing game is really looking like
it's improving.
It's improving.
It's improving, and that's what you ask the kids to do: just improve, get better. And
Coach O'Neill, let me ask you some questions because you're a linebacker coach working with the linebackers. I've talked to Coach Pavao in the past. The linebacker core this year really seems to be coming along. Hey, you know what? The defensive job, when you can keep a team to 13, you've done the job. That's just my thought. You maybe like a shutout, keep them off the board, period. But when you can keep somebody to 13, and North Hall is a good. I watched North Hall go up against a very strong 4A team, very strong, and put 35 on the board. Just put 35. So talk about that defensive linebackers, how they're coming together.
Well, honestly, most of those guys are older, have played before. Coach Pavao had done a great job working with them before I had gotten there. And not to take any, and I don't want to take any credit away from them, but it's really been a blessing to have older guys that know what they're doing. And they play great. And anytime you play a team like North Hall, who's a wing T team, it's all about responsibility. And and if there's one thing they've done pretty well this year, it's take coaching, and handle their responsibility, and that's all we ask them to do. We don't ask them to make any unbelievable plays. We just try to put them in a place that they can be successful and help our defense be successful.
Guys, you guys are both on the defense. Let me go with our corner first, Austin Brown. When you're playing corner, not getting pulled in too fast, staying home, those kind of things, staying home. There's times when you got to let the play develop a little bit because you're the guy that needs to see down the field which way this is going. The other night against East Hall, you guys stopped them several times, and they only put 13 on the board. But how's that working out for you this year as far as seeing some different speed on that corner?
I played last year, so it's kind of about the same as last year. But like you said, they do have a little bit more speed on the outside than they did last year. Really, it's like you said, you just got to sit back and let it develop and see what comes out to you. Play it from there.
I used to have those corners that shoot right in. No. Just give me just a second, right, Coach? Mm-hmm. So, same thing with you, defensive line. Talk about the defensive line, how you guys are all coming together, meshing this year, and you're playing some very good defense right now. Going into region play with no better time. Talk about the defensive line.
Well, I feel like in the past, I've played offensive line, and Cole Earl's the other defensive lineman, and Keenan Putnam. Keenan's the only one that's played in the past, and I believe he was hurt for the majority of the season last year. And me and Cole both coming from offense and playing, it's kind of, it's different than offense, and it's more fun. And you got your linebackers. We have really talented, they're well-coached linebackers like Mason and Brett and those kids, and even some younger like Jackson and Jacob Tuggle. And, you realize that it's not all about, what you can do. It's more like, you got to work with them and let them make plays for you almost. Let me
ask you one more question on that. When you talk about the guys that have played in the past and you're all starting to playing together now, reading the plays on the offense, picking up, when you see somebody run in, that could change the whole scheme of an offense. Picking that up, getting into region play, how is the team handling that out on the field as far as being able to adjust, seeing a guy run in from the sideline, knowing that's got something else to do with what's about to happen?
I feel like there's a big difference there between older kids and younger kids as far as just being able to tell, as the pace of the game changes and they bring in, the sixth lineman, offensive lineman, that, it's probably going to be more of an inside run and not like a, pass play or nothing like that, and just help us as far as that. And we can see that as being older and not, just young kids trying to run to the Brown thing as much.
Let me ask you, Austin, as a senior, have you played all 4 years or on the high school team? Okay, as a senior, your conditioning in preseason, your workouts throughout the summer, your strength conditioning, how is this year opposed as maybe some in the last? Are you guys as a team, because right now what I tell the guys is, right now is where we're seeing the conditioning take place of fourth quarter. I mean, you're in region play. A lot of games are won in fourth quarter. Teams have to be prepared and conditioned to play 4 quarters. How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling getting stronger as every game goes on?
Yeah, I feel like we took like the off season really seriously, and we knew going into it we ain't gonna have as many bigger people and as many people as we did last year that can play. And we knew that we was gonna be a fourth and third quarter team. So I feel like we actually took it more serious this year, and we've been a lot more conditioned going into this season than we was last year.
Well, guys, before we get to our first break, because we have two more Fan and Rebels over here that's going to be coming in on the second half of our show. And second half of our show, we're going to be talking to two new Rebel players, and also going to be talking about the opponent that's coming up Friday night. Greater Atlanta Christian going to be traveling up to take on the Fan and Rebels. Before we go, I ask every player this every week. You yourself this week, it's Wednesday, so when you showed up Monday after Friday night, what did you personally say, I need to work on, I want to go focus this week, and I want to do better at?
I feel like the one main thing was focus itself. I mean, as far as just working on responsibilities and seeing like the actual personnel that comes in, because they bring in a lot of different personnel as far as, you know, them being a private team and having such a large pool of kids, as they do switch up the personnel and alignments a lot, and just being able to really read those keys.
Stay focused, right? Same question for you. What are you working on this week personally yourself? I mean, I don't want to take team out of it, but when you showed up, what did you say, I want to work on, I want to do better at this week?
I was working more on focusing on my responsibilities and what I have to cover, and making sure I don't get beat deep in it, and just knowing what they're going to run and what they're going to come out doing, watching more film.
You know what I hear a lot of the guys getting at this part of the year, we do about 4 shows a week, and I hear a lot of the guys everywhere I go say, do your job. I'm gonna focus on, you know, doing my job, and so I appreciate your answers. We wish you well Friday night, guys. GAC, fast team. I know you're watching film, trying to figure out some things for a fast team coming to town Friday night, but I wish you well at home. Coach, when we get back, we're going to talk about that team coming to town and get the two more. We're going to have, when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to have Dawson King will be joining us, and we'll also have Micah O'Neill. He's a freshman, and Micah is this week, past week's JV Player of the Week, so congratulations to him, and we'll have him on the couch. I am your host, BKP. You're watching Rebel Wrap-Up from Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, and we thank Blue Jeans Pizza and Pepsi for providing the drinks for our players and the coach. Richard, take us a break.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
This summer, nothing says love like a box of truffles, especially if that box of truffles is in a blizzard.
This is all my favorite truffles. Fudge, caramel, and peanut butter. It's like a surprise in every bite. bet you're full of surprises.
Actually, I'm full of chicken strips. Just had my break.
You're cute.
Still got it.
The new Triple Truffle Blizzard Treat with fudge, peanut butter, and caramel truffles.
Welcome to Dairy Queen.
Enjoy a $1 Misty Slush and more.
Days Chevrolet in Jasper is dropping the hammer. Over $11,000 off MSRP on new Silverados. Just look what we've done to the price on this new LT Crew Cab. Save over $11,000 and pay just $32,500. And Days Chevy is dropping the hammer in a big way on all new Chevy Malibus. Save over $6,500 and pay just $17,900. The savings are real and they're big at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Papa's Pizza to Go in downtown Blue Ridge is the best in the area all-you-can-eat buffet. Call ahead or order online now at papaspizzatogo.com. Use our convenient pickup window for the best in pizza, subs, wings, breadsticks, salads, and more. And be sure to check out our lively game room. We serve lunch and dinner, catering available, take out or dine in. Papa's Pizza to Go in Blue Ridge, proud sponsors of the Fannin County Rebels.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. All I do is win, win.
Hey, it's Wednesday night, and that means Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blue Ridge presents Fan and Rebel Wrap-Up. Thank you to Blue Jeans Pizza. We want to tell Ken over there how much we appreciate Blue Jeans Pizza, and also Pepsi for providing drinks for the players and the coaches, and all of our Team FYN Sports sponsors. We want you to please do us a favor. Go follow us, Team FYN Sports. Find our Facebook page for everything that we got going on in sports happens there. We put it there. And then on Friday nights, follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for all the sideline updates. We have with us Coach Pavao is back with us. Outside linebackers coach O'Neill is here. And we're now joined on the couch, like I said earlier, by number 47, inside linebacker. He's a freshman, Micah O'Neill, JV Player of the Week. Congratulations. And also we have senior wide receiver, number 30, Dawson King. Coach, Greater Atlanta Christian coming up this week, this Friday night, home game. You know, the reality is this is a strong team.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, they're number 2 in the state. I'm not really sure why they're not number 1. You know, I think their only loss was to a nationally ranked team from out in Colorado, and they only a couple point loss. So, I mean, they're a really good football team. They're well coached. They've got a lot of, 4- and 5-star type athletes. And, so, yeah, they're really a good football team.
How do you prepare your team when you're in a North Georgia mountain region and you have a team coming to town that is number 2 and you don't know why they're not number 1, but number 1 or 2 in the state?
Right.
And the guys know that. So how do you prepare?
Well, I mean, you show them film and you say, okay, here's what they do. You can't have false steps. I mean, you can't, if for instance, if you're a contained player, if you're not containing right now, they're going to get outside you. If you're supposed to be an inside field player, on defense and you're getting a little too wide, they're going to cut back on you. And it's not going to be a 10-yard run. It's going to be it's going to be a long run. So for us, is discipline, like Austin was saying, focusing on not getting beat deep. Hey, obviously that starts with stance and start and backpedaling on a snap, not waiting there, and letting the guy run by you. So, we've got our thing has been focusing on us, getting us better, because they've got a lot of talented athletes in a lot of different places, and the only thing we can control is just us trying to get better. And if we do that, if we accomplish us getting better, then it's just going to help us for the rest of the season.
Well, something you said there. I watched the play last week. I watched the play Friday night up against Union, and you can't use steps. You can't use plural because they're a one-step team. You make one step this way, they capitalize on that.
And I think the biggest thing too is, offensively, they've got a lot of dynamic skill players, but their offensive line is really complete. I mean, they're a big physical offensive line, and so they're not just a bunch of skill players running around. They're skilled players, that are led by a good, really strong offensive line, big, strong, athletic, well-coached offensive line.
Well, I always like to give the offensive line of any team the respect, because if you come off the field and you've got the big rushing and the big passing numbers, you have some guys up front doing their job.
Right.
And I always like to give them respect. Guys, let me talk to you just a minute here. First of all, the JV team. Tell me a little bit about the JV team. Micah, you're the player of the week. Who did you play this past week?
We played Gilmer this week.
Oh, you played Gilmer
this
week?
We played Gilmer this week, yeah.
We played North Hall last week.
North Hall last week?
Right.
And how is your Gilmer? How is your JV? I haven't had an opportunity. Tell us just a little bit for the fans out there. How's the JV team doing this well? How are they coming together? And what do you see on the JV side of the Fannin Rebels football?
I feel like the JV's doing really well. We have some really great coaching linebackers. We have Coach Pavao, and he's a really great coach. And we have good DB coaches like Coach Newton, and outside linebackers like Coach Noah, and then really great defensive line and O-line coaches like Coach Kuna and Coach Turner. But I feel like we all get along really well, and we know really what our job is to do, and that we can really execute plays.
Sounds like a real unified group you got there. And guys, keep up with the Fannin Rebel JV. And again, this is Micah O'Neill. He is the JV Player of the Week. Let me ask you, Dawson. You're a wide receiver. This team coming into town Friday night, they're hard to get around. They're hard to get outside, and they're hard to break away from. So you seeing that on the film? You're working on some things for this Friday night?
Yeah, most definitely. We have a couple packages we're going to put in there and some special routes to see if we can get around them to make some plays on them.
Let's go back to. You're a wide receiver, and we talked earlier, the passing game seems to be developing. We'll say it's developing week after week. As a wide receiver, elaborate on that a little bit of what Coach said, that it's coming along.
Well, we're working a lot harder in practice. I think we mainly got our coaches and our QB trusting us more, so we're running better routes, and it's allowing us to be open, and our quarterback trusts us to throw us the ball. So,
Coach O'Neill, like Coach Pavao said, Greater Atlanta Christian, they're big up front. They're solid, solid up front. They're going to go against the defense, your defense. How about the defensive backs? The linebackers are going to have to pick these guys up coming through these holes and so forth. What are you guys seeing this week, and what are you working on?
Well, I think we prepare for every team just as hard. I don't want to sit and think that we do anything absolutely special for GAC, because we work hard every week, and every game's a big game for us. There's no bad teams in this region. And as far as GAC is concerned, I mean, our guys with the speed and the size are going to have to do their jobs, and they're going to have to do it quick. They have to trust each other, and they're going to have to get in position to help other players out as well, kind of what Clay was saying about the North Hall game. We need all our guys to do our job. I don't need my outside linebackers trying to do the middle linebackers' job, or them trying to do vice versa. We need all our guys running to the football. We got to get everybody there and doing their job.
Coach, going into Game 6 for non-conference, but you're in region play. Team healthy?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're fairly healthy right now. Considering 5 games, so we're I'll knock on wood, right now.
Well, I'm going to stay with the wood too, because the tail end of last year, and we usually don't say last year on this show,
Right.
but the tail end of last year's injuries just one after another last year.
I mean, this time of the year last year we were playing with, by now we were playing like 4 or 5 starters
Right.
down on defense,
Right.
and by the game 8 we were about 6 or 7 starters, and that not only that hurt us defensively, but it hurt us offensively, because we were. We still scored a lot of points on offense at the end of the year, but we were taking offensive players and playing them both ways. Like Cooper was starting a wide receiver and playing defense back, and Brad, a quarterback, was playing defensive back, and that was a nightmare. Just a disaster waiting to happen if our quarterback and our best receiver last year got hurt, and unfortunately it didn't. But so right now we're hanging in there. So if we can get through this week, go in open week next week. And if we can come out of this one fairly healthy, and then we're in that second half of that region play, and we go from there.
We've been talking for years, and I know one of the first things you do when you go in is start focusing on missed assignments. We've talked about that for years. And did you talk to these guys? This week about, to me, three factors in one way? Hey, guys, missed assignments. Muff punt or those kind of mistakes, and penalties and getting called back, those change the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, we defensively we didn't have a lot of missed assignments,
right?
But we did have a couple of penalties on defense that really hurt us, and a couple of penalties on several penalties on offense that hurt us. So yeah, I mean, they kids, we work on that. We talked to them, we showed them on film how it affected the flow of the game. And because a lot of times you get caught up in the game and you really don't even realize, man, that hurt us. But the kids, they realize that when we watch film on Sunday afternoon, showing them, hey, this is how it affects us. And then you just gotta, you've got to clean that up. But I think our missed assignments are cutting back, so that's coming along good. And again, the muff punt was one of those where the ball just kind of turned over weird. It kind of back turned instead of like turn nose over and coming down. And he'd been 100% catching him. It kind of, for whatever reason, it kind of came under. It kind of fell out from underneath him, and it wasn't just his fault. It was one of those where I've showed our guys on our film that there was 5 guys right in his face. So now you can have 1 or 2 guys in your face and catch a punt. When you got 5 guys right there in your face, so we got to hold up. We can't allow those guys to get down covering a punt that fast. Have 5 guys right in the return guy's face. We got to hold some guys up and give them a chance to fair catch it. With maybe 1 guy around them, not 5.
I ask this about every week because when we get into region play, hopefully everybody's settled in. You got everybody settled into positions, and then you got the guys ready to step up, because you get the. I guess when we start getting, we talked about, everybody's healthy on the team. For the most part. I mean, obviously it's football, so somebody's going to have a bruise somewhere, right? But it's that time of the year where guys have to be ready to step up. If necessary.
I mean, right now we're kind of in a situation where, our next guys stepping up, are really young players. I mean, like 9th graders. So it's we're trying to develop depth, but our depth right now, like Mike, he's going to be a really, really good player, and he is a really good player. But he's still a 9th grader, and if all of a sudden he's got to jump in there and play, 40 or 50 plays on a Friday night, that's going to be difficult for him. Ask me to do that. But he's our backup Mike linebacker, so I can ask him to play a few plays, But you kind of develop depth, but depth for us will come in time, and time is not, and our depth is. Is like Mike. He's going to be a really good player, but he's still just in the 9th grade, and so we're in a situation where we were kind of last year, except we had the injuries, and you could see it kind of all of a sudden you're playing kids both ways. We're fortunate right now; we're not playing anybody both ways. We got 22 different starters, and we're playing a few defense players over. Playing a few plays like Clay. We'll go over and play a little bit on offense, play offensive line some. Austin might go over and play a couple plays on, as a receiver, but we're not right now at the point where anybody's playing, 50, 60 plays on offense, 50, 60 plays on defense. But, if you get 2 or 3 guys hurt, that can happen. Or you're going to start playing with 9th graders, and that's.
Guys, let me wrap up tonight. We're out of time, but I don't want to leave without the questions we always close with. Mike, I know you're on the JV, but considering that, every week when you show up, like this week, what did you say, I want to work on this week, I personally want to get better at, I need to focus on?
Personally, for me, I really need to work on my body language. Like, if someone misses an assignment or I miss one and they get a pretty good gain, if it's like 4th and 3 and they get a first down, I kind of get down and out and kind of show some bad body language, and I need to work on that.
I got respect for that. I appreciate that answer. How about you? What are you working on this week? What did you say I need to focus on, I need to work harder at?
I mainly worked on route running so I could get open more and rely on my other receivers to also help me get open.
Well, guys, I appreciate you being here. For everybody, all the Rebels, the other guys that are over here, we wish you well Friday night. We support you, wish you well, and we will be there Friday night on the sideline. Coach, thanks again for being here. Let me run down the close of the show. We are at Circuit World. We want to thank them, Circuit World of Blue Ridge, and we want to thank Blue Jeans Pizza, Pepsi, Team FYN Sports sponsors. Find our Facebook page, Team FYN Sports. Follow us on Friday nights at Team FYN Sports. The 3A Region 7. Let me give you the last where everybody's going to be at. Rebels again are going to be hosting Greater Atlanta Christian. Come out and support this team. 7:30 kickoff. Dawson Tigers will have their first region game. They host the North Hall Trojans. Union Panthers heading over to play East Hall Vikings. And Lumpkin County has a bye. And we're going to leave with that. Bye. We'll see you later.